Okay, so in this video, I'm going to show you how to install WordPress. So you should be seeing my screen. I've logged into SiteGround, and once you actually arrive on this page, you're going to see all of the domain names which have WordPress installations. So you probably don't have anything on here, but you might have a domain here. You don't need to worry about any of this. You're just going to go to the cPanel. You're going to click in here onto cPanel, and it's going to open up some options for you. So once you are in here, you're going to go ahead and you're going to click on WordPress. And what this is going to do is it's going to install WordPress for us. Now, once you're in here, you are going to click onto Install Now. You're going to be amazed how easy this is. And you're going to choose your protocol. Do you know what? I've just realized that I've missed something out, because what I wanted to show you today as well is how to install your SSL certificate. So I mentioned it previously, I think on day 2, maybe even day 1 as well. I mentioned something called Let's Encrypt. So if this is a totally new account, let's go ahead and let's install Let's Encrypt. So you're going to click onto Let's Encrypt, and it's going to load it, and you can see I've got a lot of installed certificates, but you won't have these installed certificates if this is a new account for you. So I'm going to go ahead and choose a test domain that I've literally just created so that I could show you how all this works. So I've selected my domain name that I want the certificate to be associated with. So this is most likely just to be the domain name that you've just registered. So go ahead, select that, and click on Install. Now, once you've clicked on Install, you have some options to enforce these, the HTTPS and the rewrite for the links. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm actually just going to plug in my laptop as well, because my power is running low whilst I'm waiting for that. Excuse me a second. Okay, so you can see now that this was successful. And you can see that it's appeared here, testing wphappiness.co.uk. I am going to click on to my enforce HTTPS, and I'm going to enforce this one as well. These are new domains. That's not going to make any changes to what you have going on. So, so now that's your SSL certificate done. That's you ready to go. Okay, so now I'm going back to the cPanel home, and I'm going back to where I was before. I'm going back to WordPress. And now when we're going to install WordPress, we will see an option to use HTTPS. And because we've just installed it, it's going to default to this. You have other options too. You could install it on HTTP. You could use the www. Or you could use either of those configurations with the HTTPS. I'm going to stick with HTTPS, and I'm going to choose the domain that I'm going to load this on, which for you will probably only have one domain in here. I'm doing mine onto a subdomain because this is just a test that I'm running for you guys, because I want to show you how it's done. So you can leave this directory blank, don't worry about that. Your site settings, this is all stuff that you can change once WordPress is installed. I'm going to just change it anyway, so I'm going to just put in here test installation, but you could put in here health coaching by Jane Doe, or whatever you're wanting it to be. In here you can just put your tagline. I'm just going to put my WordPress website. You could put in here, if it's health coaching by Jane Doe, you could have get fit and healthy, or live the life that you desire within the next 60 days, or whatever it is, or whatever you want it to be. Okay, so now these, you can leave this unchecked. It has automatically generated a username and password for you. You're not going to like how they look, but they are doing this for security purposes. So make sure that you copy this somewhere. It can be into Notepad, somewhere where you are actually going to make sure that you're able to retrieve it. So I'm just copying this across, and I'm just putting it into a notepad so that I can grab it another time. Pop in your proper email address, because you're going to get a notification if anything goes wrong, but hopefully you'll get a success notification once this has happened. So you pop in your email address, and you can leave all of this exactly as it is, and you're just going to go ahead and you're going to click on install. And then you're just going to wait for the magic to happen. Now, this used to be a really arduous process. So we used to have to go through and download WordPress and then manually upload it using something called File Transfer Protocol. And then we had to reconfigure all of the configuration files. And it was really, you had to really roll up your sleeves and get in there with the code. This now is so super easy. So you can now click onto your administrative URL. Don't try and copy the URL from here, because this is an automated URL. So you want to make a note of the URL, but you can see this goes through to a nasty, secure UKM. It just basically went through to a predefined URL. So this here, what it's now resolved to, is the URL that you want to copy. So grab that, because this is where you're going to log in next time you need to use your login details. It's logged us in automatically because obviously it's a new installation, and it knows that it's fine. So it knows that we're authorized to log in. Okay, so straight away you can see I've got an update, because WordPress 4.9.4 has just been released literally today, I think. So this is WordPress. This is your dashboard, and this is where you're going to land every single time you log in. So welcome to WordPress. Tomorrow we're going to go through more. I'm going to give you a little bit of a guided tour around WordPress so that you can get a feel for it and you can know what's what, and you'll become familiar with all of these options down here. And I'll show you about updating and all that good kind of stuff. But for the moment, I just want to give you a big round of applause and say, woohoo, you have just installed WordPress. And, you know, I said in the email that I sent out to you this morning that it wasn't going to be as hard as you thought it might be. And I hope that you realize that actually that's true. It's a complete doddle. So now that you're here, you are going to want to have a look at what's going on at the front end. So I'm going to visit the site. So I'm going to do this in a new browser tab. So I'm going to open up this link here, and we're going to see this is what visitors to my domain name, which I've got it as testing.wphappiness.co.uk, but this is going to be, your domain name is going to appear here. This is what people are going to see. And you remember when we set up the site title and the strapline, this is what I put. I put test installation, my WordPress website. So this is what you would have as health coaching with Jane Doe, or get fit within the next 90 days, or whatever it is that you're wanting there as a strapline. So this theme, or this picture and this layout and how it looks, is dictated by what we call a theme. So WordPress uses themes, which are templates or skins, however you want to call them. WordPress calls them themes, and there's literally hundreds and thousands that you can choose from. And what I find is that people get really, really overwhelmed with the choice of themes. But I'm going to show you what they are and what they can do for you. So when we're looking at themes, we're going to go to Appearance and Themes. And you can play around with this to your heart's content, and be prepared to lose a couple of hours, because you probably will have. So this is the active theme. Whichever theme is actually active at this particular time is going to appear up in the top left-hand corner of this page. Now, WordPress ships by default with the 2017 theme and a couple of other ones, 2015, 2016. You can guess kind of what they represent, because each year WordPress releases a new theme. So I guess that we'll very soon be looking at the 2018 theme. So, but you can also add other themes. If you want to add a new one, then you get an option to have a look at a whole load of themes. So you can filter them by popular ones, by the most recent ones, by favorites. And what happens when you choose another theme is that it changes the whole layout and the visual impact of your website. So I'm just going to pick one, any one. I'm going to go to True Love, and I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to click on install. And once this is installed, you're going to see that this one oh, I need to activate it as well, activate it, is now going to appear top left, because this now is my active theme. So 2017 has been pushed over to that side. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over and have a look at the front page. This is my 2017 theme. If I hit refresh on here, we're going to see how it looks. And you can see it looks really, really different. So the colors have changed, the fonts have changed, and the layout is different. Now, if we had lots of content in here and if we had lots of pages, we would notice that difference even more dramatically because it would change significantly. And there's lots and lots of themes that you can have a look through which are free for you to look at. So let's have a look at some of the popular ones. I'm just going to install another one just so that you can see, again, just to give you an idea of what actually happens when these themes are switched, when you switch a theme. So I'm having a look for one that might make a big difference. Let's try Slick Material. So we're going to install this. And once it's installed, then we're going to go ahead and activate it. You can get live previews of them, by the way, so if you want to check them out before you actually activate it, it's a good idea, and you can do that too. So let's just go ahead and hit refresh now that we've got a new theme that's active. And again, you can see it looks different. So it's sitting differently. This one is boxed. It's got a different header along here, and it's represented differently. So this is basically going to change the look and feel of your site. Now you can look through lots and lots of theme libraries, and you can buy premium themes. They're normally about $50 to $100 to buy a theme, and that gives you access to the support and the updates for a year. So you can have a look at themes and see what it is that you think that you're looking for. Keep in mind that themes are normally done by industry. So you can have a look at a theme that's relevant for restaurants, but if you run a pet grooming business, you're probably not going to want to use a restaurant that is featuring elegance and sophistication. So you want to make sure as well, if you are running a childcare nursery, it's probably going to be a very different looking theme from someone that is running a luxury travel company, for example. So make sure that if you are looking for a premium theme, that you're looking within the correct category, because it's going to have an impact on how that looks for you. Now, my recommendation would be to use a premium theme. And the reason for that is that free themes, that some of them can be very good, and you can definitely try out to start with a free theme. But what you often find is that they're not supported, which means that if you want to change this background from a pink and purple color to a green and blue color, you need to have a support forum to help you with that if you get stuck and you don't know what to do and how to change that. So you want to make sure that your theme is well supported, and you also want to make sure that it's updated, because if it isn't updated regularly, it means that it's leaving those security loopholes open, which we spoke about previously, and it's opening you up to hackers. And you also need to make sure that if you're buying a premium theme, a lot of them are very complex and they have fabulous functionality and it looks really cool and it can do has really amazing effects. But the problem with those is that sometimes they're very heavy. The code is very heavy because there's a lot more bells and whistles in there than you're ever likely to need to use. And yet they still have to be loaded with the theme. And so what that means is that your pages load slowly, or you end up with functionality that's just overwhelming and you get confused and you find yourself tying yourself up in knots because you can't quite remember what that functionality was meant to do. So my recommendation would be to go with a premium theme because your support is likely to be better, but also you want to make sure that it's one that's going to serve you well. So what I used to do when I very first started offering the WordPress Success Bootcamp, which is my 12-week program, was I would let people go off and choose a theme, like run through loads and loads of theme libraries. And what I found was people got stuck. They just didn't know which one to go for. And they found themselves umming and ahhing, and it really stagnated them. And they didn't end up making progress because they weren't sure, A, about the design, and B, about how reliable that theme was going to be once they had purchased it. Because until you actually install it, you don't really know how easy it's going to be to customize it. So for example, if I was to install this theme and I didn't like the pink, some of the themes, and it doesn't happen that often anymore, but I've had it happen in the past, where you purchase a theme, you pay for it, and then you realize that there's really critical components that are really, really difficult for you to change and customize. So, but you don't know that until you install it. So then when I was starting to run the bootcamp, the next bootcamp that I started doing, I actually prescribed a theme. And so now everyone who runs through the bootcamp gets lifetime access to the premium theme that I use on all of my websites and all of my client sites. And when we're talking about themes today, if you're looking through the resources, you'll find a link to the premium theme that I recommend. And the link takes you to a test site where you can try it out and see if you like it before you actually go ahead and buy it. Now, if any of you are thinking, even an inkling of a thought that you might like to join me on my WordPress Success Bootcamp, because I've got one running at the end of February, then please speak to me before you go ahead with any purchase of any theme, because if you decide that you would like to work together with me, then I provide you with a premium, my agency license for the premium theme that I use. So I'm going to show you how you would install a premium theme, because the themes that we have access to here in all of these, in what we call the theme repository, they're all free, but they are easy to install because they're here, they're in the repository. But if you have purchased a premium theme, it's not going to be available to everybody in here. So I'm going to show you how you will upload a theme. So basically, when you purchase that premium theme from their website, they'll let you download a zipped folder. And once you've downloaded that zip folder to your desktop or whatever it might be, then you can upload it. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on Upload Theme, and you can see that it's asking me to choose a file. Now I'm going to grab mine. I've got one in my Dropbox. So let me go ahead and grab that, and I'm going to go ahead and install it. So I'm going to click on Install, and you'll see it actually starting to install. Now it's going to take a little bit of time. It says I'm on like 6% or something crazy. So if I stop this and then resume it, it's only because I want to show you what you do once you've actually installed your theme. So remember, when you are installing your premium theme, do not unzip the folder. You need to upload this in its zipped format, because if you try to unzip the folder and then install the theme, it's not going to work. In fact, I think it'll just bring up an error before you even try to go to the installation. So this is uploaded 50% now, and I think I'm just going to stick with it if you can bear to hold on. And some themes give you different options down this left-hand side. So you can see Hestia is one of the themes that I must have just activated when we were just flicking through. So this is not a normal option that you would see under Appearance. So certain themes will give you different options, and most of them are for customization purposes. So they'll make it easier for you to customize certain areas of the website. So this now has uploaded, and now you'll see that we get an option to activate it. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Activate, and once it's active, you will see some options. You can see it's active here, and you'll now see a new set of options here called Divi. Now, the other thing that I just want to note really briefly is about something called child themes. Now, this freaks lots of people out. Don't be freaked out by it. But if you are buying a premium theme, you need to make sure 100% that it gives you access to something called a child theme. And I'm going to explain really briefly what a child theme is. You don't need to understand it in any deep detail. You just need to understand that you should be using one. Okay, so I'm going to put it in a really literal sense. If you think of a wall and you want to have a painting on a wall, you have a few choices. You can either paint directly onto that wall, or you could paint onto a canvas and hang it on the wall. Now what that means is that if the wall ever needs replacing, or if it needs repairing, or if you ever just decide to knock it down, you can take the canvas off it and you can put it on another wall, or once that wall has been replaced, you can hang it back up again. If you have just drawn a mural or painted a mural directly onto the wall, you don't have that opportunity anymore. Once the wall is destroyed, or once it's painted over, or whatever is going to be done to that wall, you lose the opportunity to take that painting with you. And that's the same with a child theme. So what a child theme is basically it's a canvas on a wall. So think of the actual theme, what we call the parent theme, as the wall with all of the bits and pieces that are going to work really hard and provide all the functionality. The child theme just sits on top of the parent theme, which means that if ever anything needs changing, you don't overwrite any of the changes on the parent theme. It's a really difficult concept to grasp, but basically what it means is that you can make lots and lots of changes to the child theme, and then if the core functionality of the parent theme is ever changed, it's not going to affect your website. It means it's not going to overwrite any of those customizations that you've made. So it's a really important thing for you to have. Now, if you already have a website and you're not using a child theme, I don't want you to panic, but it's best practice if you're starting from scratch, which most of us are doing, to start off with a child theme. And what that means is you literally just install a child theme. So you have to have the parent theme because that's your wall. It has to be present. But then you can just literally add the child theme. And this loads really quickly because it's simply just a file. That's all it is. So when I'm installing this, you're going to see that it loads much faster than the theme itself. That's it, done. And then you activate the child theme. So the child theme should be the one that's active, and then the parent theme, you will sit alongside it. The child theme cannot work without the parent theme. So that's it. That is all that you need to know. Now, I'm envisaging that you might have questions about the child theme. Don't worry if you do, and don't worry if you don't understand what I just said, because it really isn't critical. But what I do want you to know is that if you're buying a premium theme, you should definitely be asking the theme provider to also provide you with a child theme. They should ship together. Best practice would mean that they would be, but you just can't take these kind of things for granted. And you definitely want to make sure that because we're starting from scratch, we want to get it right from the outset. Let's just make sure that we're doing it and following best practice and using a child theme right from the beginning. So that is it in terms of installing WordPress and having a quick overview of themes. Enjoy playing around. You will have a link to Divi, which is the premium theme that I use, where it will take you to a live preview that you can play around with, and that's in the resource that I'm giving you on the resources page for today's training. So enjoy going through that. Please post into the WordPress Happy group once you're done, because I want to celebrate your wins with you and make sure that you've got everything up and running. Let me know which theme you're going for, and if you have any questions, then please let me know too. So that's it from me, and enjoy playing around. I will be back at 10 o'clock tomorrow on my page as normal. So I apologize I'm not going live today, but I really hope that you'll understand why. And actually, this has been a good opportunity for me to run through some screen shares with you, which actually I think is more valuable for you. That's it for now. See you tomorrow.